me videotape
No,
the
just
okay.
Let me get your face.
You're such an.
I'm gonna
Benson,
videotape only you, Andrea.
Benson's not allowed in this class. Okay, so this cut is called condensed cutting. And the whole purpose of condensed cutting is so that you can maximize. You're going to use large sections, but get maximum volume and layer. It's amazing on curly hair, like a crazy curly hair, because lots of times when you're doing curly hair, you'll find that they have, even when it's long, it's like a bell. Everything's belled. There's no layering to this. This will create layers within, but without removing the length, and that's why I like it most, especially for a shag, because they don't necessarily want to remove the length. They want to keep the length, but they still want texture and movement and everything within their like man bun or whatever it is that you're trying to create. So you have the option lots of time is to create the fringe. This and the fringe right here is going to determine your length. The length for the interior of the haircut. This is what's going to stay. I'm not going to remove any of this, but when I create my cut, I'm going to take off any split ends. But this will determine my length. And if I'm doing, say, long layers, so they want long layer, I'm going to go to here. Okay, and I'm just going to remove it. So I know that none of my layering will be any shorter than this. Okay? So you're going to part the hair, top of the crown, behind the ear, so you can see I have 5 sections. So my fringe was my first, 2 sections in the front, at the crown, behind the ear, and then both going down right down to the nape. Okay?
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Sorry, if you were teaching a class, you would just say that this is the front, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it's the crown, and I have my 2 front sections, and they're both parted directly behind the ear. From the crown behind the ear, and then center parting straight down.
Okay.
Okay? So first, depending on what you're looking for, okay, I'm just gonna lower her down. So I'm gonna bring everything up and over. So you wanna position your So now what I'm gonna do is take this entire section.
Would you always do this dry or?
I would do it wet.
Wet.
Yep, I would do it on wet hair, but it's too much hair to wet, wet right now, so I would always use it on wet hair. And I'm gonna actually pull it over. So you notice I'm over directing the hair. Everything is over directed.
Redirect to preserve length.
Yep. Over directing the entire cut. I'm gonna make sure that I get out as much of this as possible. So you're working on mannequin here, so that comb it as many times as you need to, because you want it to be directly flat on the hair. I'm gonna pull it so that it's straight. Yeah. I'm holding it at what degree?
90.
90 degrees, yeah. I'm holding it straight at 90 degrees. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find my fringe. This is my guideline.
Yeah.
I find my fringe,
Cut to that length.
and I'm gonna cut to this point. And remember, I'm not removing any more length, but I've taken off any split ends that there might have been in this hair. But when I pull this back over, I still have all of my length. I haven't removed anything. All I've done is created texture interiorly. So it all falls, and if you can see, I already have movement in the hair. So I'm gonna do it on the other side.
So do you, would you perform this same steps on a woman?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. This cut I originally learned for women with curly hair. This is the cut that I'll do for a woman with curly hair, but it works fabulous on men. So originally, this is where I learned it from. But then when, just with everything, the direction that everything like styling was going and heading, it made sense to do it with men because they like this look where it's like, doesn't look like I've maintained it, but I have a really nice haircut.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the same on this side. And if you need to, section it off. By all means, put it tight. It's always best to work with nice, clean sections, right? This is like the worst mannequin in the world.
Put your
back into it. Technique's off.
There's always someone in your class like Benson, by the way, just so you know. Ignore them. Just kidding. So again, I'm going to take out as much of this as possible. And the mannequin head obviously is different. And when the hair is wet, it's going to sit and lay nicer for you. So now I'm going to pull. I'm going to find my guide. So here's my guide here.
At 90 degrees.
I'm going to hold it at 90 degrees in front of me, and I'm going to cut. So I put it back over. And again, I haven't lost any of my length. I've just created texture within the hair. And the hair length is exactly the same, which is the most important when you're creating the shag. But anything that was flyaway or looked like it was messing, like unkept, is removed when I pull it over and it's gone now. So.
That one you must pull forward then.
Exactly. You're gonna pull up and over and towards you. So the key thing when you're doing this haircut is make sure that you stand directly in the section that you're gonna create the cut. Anytime you're doing a long haircut, you wanna stand directly where you're cutting the hair so that you can get the most, it'll be most precise. If I stand over here and then try to cut this way, then I'm reaching, and I don't know if the hair is gonna fall exactly where I want it to. The main thing when you're doing a long cut is understanding where the hair falls and how it's gonna fall. It makes the most sense.
I guess in like comparison to barbering, it would be like when using a razor blade. When you use a razor blade, you have to stand in certain areas. Of
Exactly.
Like I have to stand behind him or to the side of him.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that now you can pull face or
Yeah.
to pull the skin in the direction that you need
Yeah.
to, so that it does exactly what you want, right? So now I'm gonna take this hair, and I'm gonna section this out just for now while I'm combing it, because her hair is so rebellious. Well, am I keeping you up?
No.
Thank you, Annie. Would it be easier for you guys if you guys all perform this haircut? Because there's only 5 of you. I'm certain I have 5 mannequin heads. Do you guys want to try this cut this afternoon?
Sure.
Okay.
Does this eliminate the need to use like the thinners after, the texturizing shears?
You won't need to. Like when you see, like when it's done and you turn it upside down.
So it does
it'll be
eliminate the need.
Yep. So I'm pulling everything forward. I'm
Because
still gonna.
essentially what you're doing is bringing the hair so that it's as if it were upside down.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's working in my benefit. So I'm gonna pull it all forward. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull from this section here, my shortest piece at the very bottom.
Oh,
Here,
that's
right
your
by the
guideline.
ear.
Connect it
So
like
now I'm
that.
gonna find my guide.
Ah, okay, Adrian.
From the bottom of the hairline.
Yeah, sorry. Bottom of my hairline, I'm gonna bring it over now. So it will fall shorter for me.
That trips me out. It always looks like it's gonna cut off so much length, but it doesn't.
No, hold on.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't it? Because like you see where it's coming from, and she's holding it, and then she
She
chops
was
it.
doing this on me, I'd probably hop out the chair. What are you
And be
doing?
like upset with myself, right? So here's my guide. I'm gonna pull it, I'm gonna cut. I'm just gonna take this off.
God damn. Beautiful.
So how do you check this?
I'll show you. Takes 2 seconds to check after. And my last section,
And then you would take the guideline from that section?
Yes.
Or from here?
from here,
Or from there?
from over here.
This is like way easier than
So
every
easy.
other way I've learned to do layers.
Doing a haircut, right?
Oh
It's
my
like
god,
a
the way they
coach.
teach you in school is so dumb.
Yeah. The way I learned it in school was you separate the panels and then you work in, kind of like what we did
Yeah,
with
like
Rust,
they-
you work in panels going down.
Yeah.
You can, and I have another
Takes
haircut.
longer
that-
though.
But that's so
Way-
tedious.
So
takes
Andrew, what if
way
you wanted
longer.
to trim the length of the
leaves more
perimeter?
room
Would
for
you
The
do
way
it
they taught
first
us
and
to
then
do
You
it,
don't,
like they
you
would
don't need to
section
because
on
we're
one,
unless you were
section
taking
on
off a
another,
good
section
amount
on
of the
another.
length.
Yeah.
Then
Section like
otherwise,
that.
I've already. If
That's
you
like
see it's
way
all
What if they
more
wanted
work.
to trim
Yeah.
also?
Yeah.
They-
And
you
just
do
just for
You do
like
that
a,
first,
a
and
solid,
then you do the
a
fringe,
blunt
and then
cut.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Benson's question, he was asking, what if we wanted to remove length? Like, what if you wanted to do the exterior? It would be the first thing you did, was determine the
The
perimeter.
perimeter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, and then you would do the fringe, then you would do all of your sections.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
cut is a glitch.
Is what?
It's a glitch, it's a hack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at,
seriously.
I'm like covered in hair. Here, and underneath, and up.
Ooh, no tip, no tip. No tip on that one.
That's okay. I'm not offended. I'm good. On one side. Here.
It's a lot easier though if it's wet.
Yeah,
honestly.
100%.
Yeah.
And mannequin
Remove
hair
it.
is always
Yeah, generally
And
cold
then
mannequin hair. Just saying.
Yeah.
And so now if you see like there's movement in the hair, like if you just even look at the fringe at the front, where you can see, and if I go upside down,
That's how you check?
yep, you'll be able to check.
So this is what you make your
So
clients
you
do to check.
So what are you checking for? Just like
Right now, so
everything
you'll
to
see
By
I
the
have-
legs,
I have
right?
legs, but I have a point.
Oh, that you have a
You and
point.
Randy.
But I have a
Yeah,
point.
seriously. Randy, come
But you
over
don't
like
have
all
to,
the
you
other.
can comb it upwards and you'll be able to check. But just for mannequin's sake, you should see that you'll have a point. You see my point is here. Pull over. And I've created
And bam.
texture in the hair, but I still have my length. So you can do it on a shorter hair. It's gonna still give you the, I'll get you longer mannequins for this, but just to give you an idea of what's happening with hair. You guys can grasp that? You guys are okay with that?